Hey, you guys, come on in. Doing a quick live. I got a little bit of time in between some sessions today, so I want to go ahead and have a little conversation with you all. So come on in, join me. Looking forward to having this chat with you all today. Talking about resolving conflict in relationships, y'all. So, and I know some of y'all kind of need this one. So we're going to do this today. Oh, this is a nice angle of me. Like, I look a little slimmer. I didn't do that on purpose. I just happened to set it up like that because that's just how it was set up. But this is a nice angle. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try this. This is a nice angle right here. I like this angle. I'm going to have to do this again. Definitely. I take my tripod now everywhere I go. Because I never know when I need to pop this thing on and start talking. And I wasn't always like that. I have always been a behind the scenes type of person. You know, I've done makeup in the past professionally, so I was so used to just being behind the camera. But now I'm in front of the camera a lot more, and I'm really learning about these angles, lighting, all of that. So, alrighty. So we are going to start talking about conflict resolution in relationships. How long should we wait before it festers? Like, this is a very common topic that comes up in a lot of my sessions. So as you all are joining in, just kind of check in. If this is something that you're really interested in talking about too, just, give me a little thumbs up or a heart to let me know you're excited about going over this topic as well, because I think it's extremely, extremely important. This is why a lot of people have breakdowns in their relationships as well, is because of this unresolved conflict. Stuff is just lingering. And then stuff comes up later on down the line. You're looking like, I didn't even know we were still having that issue. I thought we were done with that. But it's because the conflict was never resolved from the beginning. So we are going to talk about that today. Alrighty, so just like church, I'm not gonna wait until a lot of people log in. We're just gonna get started, and you might have to catch the replay because I don't even really have a lot of time. So I'll get to the point. Okay, so I put up a post not too long ago asking, hey, what you all want me to talk about today? Because I got a plethora of topics I can always bring up. Trust me, the issues never stop with what I do. But I definitely wanted to hear what you all had to say and what you wanted to talk about. And the first response was, just resolving conflict. How long should we wait, before it becomes a thing and it festers? So I wanted to jump on that right away. And because this is something that does come up a lot in a lot of my sessions, this will be an easy one. So let's get ready to do that. So when we think about resolving conflict, the first thing you want to think about is, what is your goal? What's the end game? Okay. And the reason why this is so important, because how you show up in a conflict is going to be based on what is your overall goal. Okay. So if your overall goal is to be right, that's probably how you're going to show up. You're going to keep arguing, to keep making your point so that you can be right. If your goal is to get something out the deal, like, I'm just trying to resolve this because I want to, get a new bag or something for Christmas, or I'm just trying to resolve this because I want to get some tonight, whatever that is, that's your goal, that I can't necessarily say that effective conflict resolution is going to happen based off that goal. Okay. So, but always remember what the end game is. What is the goal? And I would say the best way to look at it is, the goal is to just resolve the issue so that it doesn't keep coming up over and over again. Very simple, right? Like, if you have a situation, if you have a conflict, in all honesty, do you want to keep having this conflict over and over and over again? If you don't, then the goal is effective conflict resolution. That is the goal. Okay. So if that is your overall goal, then being right is not going to be on the priority list, because sometimes effective conflict resolution does not resolve in you actually being right. It may just be what's good for the relationship. So we have to talk about that. Okay. So first and foremost, you want to be aware of your own emotions. Okay. Your emotions, like what ticks you off, what frustrates you, what are your triggers, like all of those things you need to be aware, because you know that when you're in a relationship with someone, they probably know how to push your buttons. And if you know what those buttons are, then you can also be clear on talking about that ahead of time with your partner. Like, I know that when you say things this way, that triggers me. I know when you make this comment, that triggers me. So these are conversations that you actually want to be having prior to a conflict. And this is another thing that a lot of couples don't do. They don't even prepare for conflict. That's not healthy for your relationship. Every relationship is going to have some issues. Every relationship is going to hit a wall. Every relationship is going to have some misunderstandings, some disagreements. So prepare for it by having conversations beforehand. Like, I know I get this way when I am angry. I know I get this way when I don't get my way. Like, start having those conversations when you all are calm. Not when you're in the middle of a heated argument. It's just not going to work. Emotions are running too high. So actually carve out time to talk about, what triggers me, and be willing to hear what somebody else's triggers are and learn how to respect them. Okay. So I will give an example. I always think it's good to use myself, personal example. So, and this may seem minor, but I think it's very important to say. One thing me and Mr. Lee have talked about is usually when he comes in from work, he don't like to do a lot of talking. No, all that talking. Like, he don't mind saying, "Hey, babe, how you doing?" He don't even really ask too much, "How was your day?" Just because that can also go into a longer conversation. So usually when he comes in the door, if I'm home, I'm be like, "Hey, babe." He like, "Hey, babe." And a lot of times that's his time to decompress. I don't bring up any topics about how was work today, or I start talking about my day at work. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to talk about what needs to be fixed around the house or garbage needs to be taken out. That is not the time. This is his time to decompress. So he come in, and whatever that time, and we've discussed that. Sometimes he needs 30 minutes. Sometimes he needs an hour. And that might mean he may take a nap. That might mean he want to sit down and watch some TV. That might mean he actually wants to get, online or on social media and check whatever. That's totally up to him. Whatever he wants to do at that time, that is his decision and his right. So if I know that, if we have a conflict, more than likely, if I want to address a conflict, that is not the time to address the conflict, because he's already made that clear that that's his time to decompress. I totally respect it. I'm actually a little bit of the opposite. Now, I will say when I get off work, I like to decompress as well. When I'm done with clients, I like to decompress. But for him, I'm always open to talking and different things like that. But that's me. That's not him. So if my goal is to resolve a conflict, and I know that when he gets off work, that's his time to decompress, why would I bring up the conflict? Because I know we're not going to reach the goal at that time. More than likely, we're not. So I'm not going to take that chance. I'm going to wait till the timing is a lot more beneficial. So again, the first thing you got to think about is when you're dealing with conflict resolution, you need to set the stage. And the only way to set the stage is if you all are having conversations before the conflict and talking about, this is the way that I tend to show up when I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, when I don't like something. Have those conversations ahead of time, not in the heat of argument. Okay, so that's the first thing. Okay. Now, when we talk about when we're actually in the conflict, so let's talk a little bit about that. So we've reached a situation, we're arguing, we're not seeing eye to eye, whatever that is, whatever that conflict looks like for you. Allow time for emotional regulation. What is that? Calm down. That's all that is. So that might look like 20 minutes. That might look like an hour. That might look like a few hours. This is not the time to just be yapping. This is time for emotional regulation for yourself and for your partner. So in that moment, when you see that you all are not meeting in the middle, you're not coming to a resolution, it's okay for one of you all to say, hey, you know what? I think we need to take a step back and we both need to calm down. That could be any one of y'all. Anybody can take that role. Okay, so whoever is a little bit more level-headed at that moment that can handle that and might say, hey, let's stop for a minute. Let's calm down. And why don't we come back when we both feel like we're at a place that we can talk about it. Now, sometimes that works for certain couples. Some couples may actually have to set a time and be like, you know what? Let's come back in 30 minutes, or let's come back in an hour, or let's come back the very next day and let's talk about this when we're both calm. So emotional regulation is going to be one of the biggest things, because you all are not going to be able to hear each other if you're both still very angry, if you're still trying to make a point, if you're still trying to be right, unless it's a safety concern or an emergency where you have to get it taken care of right away. Then give yourselves some time to calm down, okay? And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people really think that they can get through a conflict and they have not calmed down. And I'm telling you, for the most part, and I've seen this over and over again, you need to be honest with yourself. Sometimes you know that if I keep talking, I'm going to say something I can't take back, or I might do something, and I can't change that. What's done is done. So if that is you, which it probably is, everybody is like that. We all need moments to just calm down and breathe. Whatever that looks like for you, take your deep breaths, take your walk, go upstairs, get a pillow, yell in it. I don't know. Whatever is safe for you to do to calm down, that's what you need to do. Okay? So allow for emotional regulation when you're dealing with a conflict. Okay? Now, when it's time to actually circle back and have that discussion, then what I would say is to keep in mind something I tell my clients all the time. It's the 3 T's. Okay? I actually made that up. I trademarked that. Okay, so the 3 T's is timing, which you talked about, your tone, so that's how you say something, okay? So that's like the intonation of your voice, if it's going high, if it's going low, if you're speaking rapidly, if you're speaking slowly, whatever that is, that's your tone, okay? Then the last one is tact. So that's the actual wording that you use. So when you think tact, you think about not necessarily dumbing down a message or walking on eggshells with someone, but the tact is like the actual wording that I use. So for instance, I give this 2 examples a lot of times with couples too. Say for instance, you have a couple or someone who's unhappy in their relationship. And let's just say it's the woman, okay? Just throwing that out there, no particular reason. But say for instance, she comes to her husband or boyfriend, she's just like, I'm fed up, I'm tired in this relationship, I am so unhappy. That's one way to say it. Another way to say it is, hey babe, I would really like to kind of have some time where we discuss some things that are going on in our relationship, because I believe that it can be more fulfilling for the both of us. Really, it's actually the same thing, but you're saying it in a different way, and you're saying it in a way so that your partner doesn't feel like you're attacking them. If somebody comes to you and says, I'm not happy in this marriage or this relationship anymore, I'm over it, I'm done. Yeah, that's not really encouraging. I mean, it definitely shows a level of urgency or seriousness, but I don't know if anybody wants to have a conversation really tactfully after that, okay? But if someone says, hey, you know what, babe, I've been noticing some things in our relationship. I think we have some options to make it a little bit more fulfilling so that we could work on this or work on that. That's a whole different way of saying it. So tact. So we got timing, tone, and tact. So before you even go into conflict resolution, keep those 3 things in mind. This can be found, by the way, in my book, The Intimacy Guru. That is on Amazon, and it's in the description on this video. Okay, so make sure you get that. Plug. So anyway, we talked about timing, tone, and tact. Okay, so before you even begin dealing with a conflict, you want to make sure that you're in a certain headspace. You have to make sure that you're in a headspace of, I am setting a goal of true resolution. Okay, not to point the fingers, not to make it seem like I'm the only one with the answers and you're not, and not to go into it just thinking that we're going to keep going on and on with this thing. Because sometimes, depending on how we're feeling, we might want to go tit for tat. You're not going to really resolve anything that way, and it's going to linger, and that's not the goal. The goal is to wrap this conflict up as soon as possible. Deal with it, though, not just sweep it under the rug and act like, certain things don't exist. You got to deal with it as well, but then also we want to move on so we can get back to enjoying our relationship. That's the goal. Okay. So once you've done that, you sit down and have a conversation. I like to share with my clients something that I give them, which is an actual conflict resolution worksheet. It has 10 steps, okay? I know that sounds like a lot, but when I train my clients on this, they get so much better at it with time. So we go over this actually quite a few times in sessions to the point where they won't even need the sheet after a while. They'll start doing it very naturally. Like they'll just end up kind of talking through their conflicts through that conflict resolution sheet once they've kind of gotten used to doing it. Okay, so the biggest part to remember about that conflict resolution sheet is you want to carve out a specific time and location, neutral location, where you all can discuss the conflict. So say, for instance, you had a conflict today, which is Monday. Then you can decide, tomorrow on Tuesday, we're going to sit down at 7 p.m. for about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And the reason why I say 30 to 45, because you still need time to actually go over the issue at hand and deal with the different components of the conflict. But we don't want this conflict lingering forever and ever. We ain't got time for that. Got to get back to the relationship and enjoying the relationship. So 30 to 40 minutes. Let's carve out some time tomorrow, 7 p.m., 30 to 40 minutes. And we're going to meet in the living room. Neutral place. We're not going to argue or discuss this in the bedroom. We're not going to do this in the kitchen where we got access to knives. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. but yes. So you're going to carve out a time, a place. Okay? That's the first thing. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to identify what the issue is and be as specific as possible. Okay? And what I mean by that is do not go into your conflict resolution meeting, if you will, and start saying, well, we meeting because you always get on my nerves. You always doing this. You always doing that. We canceling out the absolutes. We're not going to say you're always doing this. You never do this, because that's not true. No one is doing anything 100% of the time. Even if they only did something one time, they're not doing it 100% of the time. So don't come into the conflict resolution meeting with that attitude. You're coming in with a very specific issue that you would like to resolve. Okay, so for example, that issue can be, I notice that when we have or we engage in conflicts, you tend to call me out my name. I would like for that to stop. Very clear, very direct, very much to the point. Now we can go through the steps in this conflict resolution sheet and talk about why are we doing this in the first place. Yes, we're going to get to all of that stuff. But let's just focus in on what is it that we're trying to resolve. I do not like that you speak to me in a tone that's condescending, or I do not like the insults that you call me out my name, or whatever that is. I would like for that to stop. Okay, that's one way. Okay, now another way you can approach it is, I notice that when we've had a very long day at work, we tend to disconnect. We tend to ignore each other. We tend to argue about some of the little things around the house. I would like for us to become a little bit more aware that we're exhausted and figure out a plan so that we don't resort to those things. Okay, so very direct. Again, the goal within conflict resolution is to make sure that you watch your timing, your tone, and your tact. Make sure you carve out a specific day and time to talk about it and identify a specific issue you would like to address. All of these things keep things moving, right? Because we're not trying to have a conflict resolved like over weeks or years from now. We want to get in there and resolve this conflict as soon as possible. Definitely touch on the key points, okay? But we want to resolve this so that we can move on and be happy and engaged in the relationship. In this video, you're going to hear me kind of repeat some things because some of you all are coming in later. But then also, the more I say things, it'll kind of, kind of sit there in your brain and you'll start to remember what I'm saying. Okay, so the next thing after we do that, we're going to list all of the ways that we have not contributed to the resolution of this conflict. That means you have to turn the spotlight on yourself. So that means that even though there's a conflict, and you might have said, I don't like that you do this, I don't like you do, okay, I got it. You don't like all these things, right? But what have you personally done that has not contributed to the resolution of this conflict? And both of you all have to answer that. Accountability 101. Yes, because we all play a role, right? It's not just one or the other. Even if you are the enabler in a situation, you are playing a role. Okay, so what is your role in this? And don't get cute, because see, sometimes I do this with some of my clients, and I'm like, okay, what's your role? Well, my role is I have just been such a loving spouse, and they're just taking advantage of me. Like, don't play. Don't play. You know what I'm saying? So take some accountability and start with yourself. What is it that you're doing? Okay, maybe it is that you're coming in the house and you're not acknowledging your significant other and you get right on the phone. And you stay on the phone for like 3-4 hours. That could be what's contributing to the issue. I don't know, Another thing could be, when my partner tries to engage me, I don't have any words, I don't say anything, and I just sit there and I look at them. What you can say is, if you don't have the words right now, you know what, right now I'm not in a place to speak. I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed, or I need time to process this information. Can you give me another 10 minutes? Boom. Resolve. Just don't sit there. Don't sit there and look and wait for your partner to do everything. Join in, and tell them exactly what's going on. Right now, I'm having a hard time kind of putting my words together. I think I might be a little frustrated. I think I'm tired. Or I'm just trying to gain a little bit more understanding of what's going on. So if you can, just give me a little bit more processing time. Cool. Okay. So that's the next part, right? So thinking about how you have not contributed to the resolution of this conflict. Okay, so both of you all will do that. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to sit down, both of you, and you're going to list all the possible solutions to this particular issue. All the possible solutions, okay? It doesn't mean that this is the solution that you all are going to use. Don't get hung up on that. Don't sit on it too long. Again, we're trying to move through this very quickly. Just spitfire. Just boom, 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 boom. Okay, I think we can do this. Write it down. Okay, well, what about that? Cool. Don't judge it. Don't judge the solutions yet. We're just writing down every possible solution imaginable. Even if you think it sounds silly, even if you think like, okay, they would never do that. Don't judge it. Just write it down. Just put it all down. Because before you know it, you're going to have a whole list of like 20 different options that you didn't even think of, because in the heat of the moment, you was just trying to be right. You was just trying to tell somebody off. You was just trying to get what you want. Okay, so we're focusing on solutions. Okay, so just write down all the solutions. Okay, a good 20, however many. Okay, just write them down. No judgment. So if I'm writing something down, my partner should not be looking at me like, why did you put that down? No. I shouldn't be like, why you put that there? Nope. We're just jotting down every possible solution. You know what I'm talking about, David. You already know. You already know. So that's that, okay? Now, after that, now this is when we're not necessarily judging them. We're just going to list them in order in terms of which ones we think we can possibly do together. Like we can both agree on these things. So say, for instance, you got 10 possible solutions. Okay, 10, which is good. Okay, I'm going to say right now, if you have more than 5 possible solutions on your sheet, you all are doing great. Okay, so give yourselves a pat on the back. Okay, so if you have more than 5, then I want you to go through those 5. Look at those 5 and both of you separately. Just number in order which ones you think would be the most effective. Okay, so you got 5 possible solutions, or 10. Each of you are going to, in order, like order them from top to bottom, which ones you think would be most effective. Okay, 1 through 10, 1 through 5, what have you. Okay, after that, now you're going to look at each other's sheets. You're going to look at which numbers match. Okay, so say for instance, you have this solution as number 1, but they have a different solution as number 1. But then you have this solution as number 2, and they have this solution at number 2. Bingo! We got our first solution. There we go. Okay, now we keep going. Okay, you got this one as 3. I had this one as 3. You got this as 4. You got this as 4. I got this one as 5. You have that one at 5. Bingo again. 2 solutions. Okay, then out of those 2 solutions, we're going to number them again. We're going to see out of those 2 solutions, which one can we do first and which one can we do second. Okay, so just looking at those solutions, which one is first, which one is second. So again, this is all about a numbers game, you know, because the more you have, the better off you'll be. And then we're just going to start kind of eliminating some things. Now, the ones that you don't use for this, that doesn't mean you're going to throw them away. You're going to actually kind of keep them in your back pocket, because you might find that later on that solution will actually work better. Okay, so you got your list. Let's say, for instance, you all came up with 2 solutions you both agreed on. Okay, now you're going to start implementing those solutions. Okay, but before you do that, you're going to also ask each other, what could be the barrier to these solutions? So for instance, one of the solutions might be, okay, we're going to make sure that, I don't know, garbage is always taken out no later than like Wednesday of the week. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there. Wednesday by like 5 o'clock. Okay. What could be the possible barrier? The barrier could be, oh, you know what? My schedule next week is kind of busy. It's crazy. I'm rarely going to be in the house. And then when I get in the house in the evening, I'm exhausted. So I might not get around to it. Okay. That's a barrier. Another barrier could be, you know what? Maybe it makes more sense for us to wait and take it out when the garbage, you know, is coming, the disposal, they're coming to pick it up at this time or whatever like that. That could possibly be an issue or whatever. Again, just throwing stuff out there at the top of my head. But just think about all of the barriers that could possibly come up when carrying these solutions out. And again, this is preventative, because you don't want to get to a point where you're trying to carry out a solution and then you see your spouse not holding up their end of the bargain. You're going to get upset all over again. So let's talk about what could possibly prohibit that. And then let's come up with a sub-solution of how to make sure that that thing gets carried out. Okay? So there you have it. So then after that, you're going to carry out your solution. And then you're going to set a time and date again so that you all can kind of go back and see how it's working. So that might mean a week later, that might mean a few days later, that might mean a day later, depending on how big the issue is. How is this working for us? Do we feel that this is effective? If not, then we're going to go back to the drawing board and we're going to start the process all over again until we figure this thing out. Okay? So that's how you can really kind of get in there and resolve a conflict as soon as possible, not let it fester. Again, going into this is going to require that you have a certain level of emotional intelligence. So if you know you petty, whoever I'm talking to, if you know you petty, if you know you like to hit below the belt, if you know you're always trying to be right, if you know you're just frustrated with life in general, okay, we need to have all those conversations ahead of time, because if any one of those things are showing up when you're trying to sit and resolve a conflict, you're going to probably run into some problems. So get your emotional intelligence weight up, okay? Timing, tone, and tact, 3 T's. Timing, tone, tact. Remember that, okay? Very, very important. If you go into any of your conflicts with that in mind in the forefront, like, let me watch my timing, let me watch my tone, tact, you're going to see a more positive outcome, okay? Any questions, y'all just throw them out there for me while we got a little bit of time. I just wanted to kind of communicate that really quickly. Like, this is something that comes up very often in my sessions, because conflict be killing relationships, y'all. Like, it's unresolved, you know. And a lot of this stuff, it be so much stuff that doesn't even have to be a thing if it was effectively dealt with through conflict resolution. So I'm telling y'all, like, once you learn how to do this, this is going to change the game. You'll get to a point where you'll be like, wow, I don't even remember the last time we really had like a real conflict. Yeah, we probably had like a disagreement, or we were like not seeing eye to eye on something. But as far as it lingering, festering, not when you follow these steps. And if you are interested in that conflict resolution sheet, I can forward that to you. So if you want, you can drop your email in the chat, or you can just private message me and I can send you the sheet right in, Messenger for you, because the conflict resolution sheet is a game changer. It will do wonders for your relationship, your marriage. So you're not sitting here going back and forth with somebody like, why we got these issues. And let me tell you, it works for any conflict. Like when I tell y'all, any conflict, something as small as cleaning up around the house to something as big as lying, infidelity, stealing, I don't know, anything that is occurring in your relationship or your marriage, this conflict resolution sheet will definitely help you. So let me know if you want me to send you that. It's not, you don't have to pay for this, y'all. Like, this is all free content. We're not doing all of that. Like, if you want something and you feel like it can be helpful to you, I got you. Just let me know in the chat or private message me and say, yeah, Angie, send me that sheet. I think that's going to be really helpful, for me and my partner. I got you. Okay, so this is not, you don't have to pay for that. Now, you do have to pay for this. You do. But let me tell you, I say this all the time, y'all. I'm not, okay, let me just say again, I ain't worried about getting rich off books, y'all. Like that. What I'm concerned about is that y'all getting the content in this book and applying it in your relationship. Because I'm telling you, the stuff that people sit in my sessions for, all of it is in this book. Some of them just need a little bit more hand-holding. That's all. They just need a little bit more guidance, or they just need a little bit more help with like accountability and stuff like that. And that's understandable. Nothing wrong with that. But if you ain't got that kind of time, or you just want to learn something, you know what I'm saying? Or, you're embarking on a new relationship, or you're in a newer relationship, or you've been with your partner like for a very long time, and you like, I need to get that free game. Like, all in here on Amazon. In the description in this video, the link to this book is in here. Okay, so check that out, because I talk all about timing, tone, and tact, how to talk to your partner, how to word, what you're saying when you're talking to people. Because see, some of y'all missing the mark because you just don't know how to talk. You gotta learn how to talk. Like, it's all about that. Like, get that part, and you're gonna see some positive changes in your relationship, your marriage. Okay, I got you on the conflict resolution sheet. So I'm gonna send that to you, sister. Love you, girl. So I'm gonna send that. So like I said again, if you're just coming in, we were just talking about how to resolve conflict resolution, like 30-40 minutes tops, y'all. Like, because we got other stuff to do. I don't know about y'all, but for me, I'm not trying to sit on a conflict for days and days, weeks, years. Ain't nobody got time for that. Trying to be happy, trying to be fulfilled, trying to be in healthy relationships, people. So no time for that. So yeah, so definitely, if you did not see this whole video, just catch it on the replay. Any questions, y'all, just let me know. We got like a little bit more time, like maybe a couple more minutes before I gotta get out of here. But if you all have any questions, definitely drop them real quick in the chat. I'd love to do a little shout out. I see a few of y'all up in here. This is what's up. Thank you all for joining in. I hope you all got something out of that. I know that was quick, but the reason the video was quick was because I wanted to show you how quick conflict resolution can go too. Because I'm telling y'all, the stuff works. I'm telling y'all, look, I know y'all can only take my word for it, right? Because my clients, it's confidential. I can't share I can't share with you all who I work with or anything like that, and because that's just how it goes, okay? But I am telling you all how we do conflict resolution in my sessions. I don't play. What's the conflict? Okay, got you. Boom. Let's do this. Next session. Where y'all at? Did we resolve this thing? No? Oh, we didn't? What's the barrier? What happened? Let's figure it out, okay? Because I'm not playing. We got to clean up these relationships, y'all. Clean them up. Get them right. Let's do what we got to do, okay? So I will definitely send that out to anyone who requested. I got you. Thank you all for joining in. I'm so glad this was beneficial for some of you all. Hopefully it was for all of you all. If you have questions, check me out. Send me a message here on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok, all of the things. I'm on YouTube. Just look me up, Angie D. Lee, Intimacy Coach, IN2 MESEECOACH. Okay. The Intimacy Guru, Amazon. Change your life. Change your life. Okay, I just got to say, the reason why I know this is going to change your life because I wrote the book. And sometimes I stop and I reread and I be like, that's right, Angie. That's right. That's right. That's what I'm saying. So, game changer. Get your book. Get your book for the holidays. You know what I'm saying? Because, listen, that's another thing. Holidays be bringing out a lot of stuff in people. You know, it's a lot going on. It's a lot of emotions, you know. A lot of changes in people's lives and stuff. This is the time where people tend to feel the most depressed, the most overwhelmed. Like, you all know this already. Like, the least, just help your relationship. That's one less thing you got to worry about. One less thing. Get close with your partner. Get on track with them, okay? Because when your house is right, when your house is aligned, everything just like beautiful, fulfilling, loving. That's what I'm trying to achieve here with y'all today, okay? So get your books. I'm going to send conflict resolution sheets out. Merry Christmas early. That's my Christmas gift to you all. And yeah, have a good rest of the day, you guys. Mwah.